got out to the public or to the retailers.
Kicking off 6 o'clock about
We want everybody, the public and the other retailers away.
And pass a message on to those who didn't turn up tonight. If they don't think it affects them, I got news for them. It does. Because all of a sudden, you're going to see a decline in traders in the wholesale. You're going to see a decline in traders on the open. You're going to see a decline in traders on the dry goods. And then you've got no market to see from the town. As we start to diminish and start to disappear, the rag will suffer. And as you see the rag suffer, the indoor suffers. So let's count it all together as one.
On Friday we went to a meeting with Mark Chamberlain and we were confronted with the information that a decision was made on Monday the 25th of July not to relocate the wholesale market but to close it down and demolish it. This news actually means that Birmingham City Centre will no longer have a wholesale outlet big enough to supply a concern as big as this market or any other small retail businesses within this city. The nearest wholesale market that we would be able to access that kind of goods from would entail a 6-hour round journey. That's travelling to, loading and travelling back. As you can see, this poses a big problem. This decision was taken. We were then told that after that decision that they would start consultation with us in order to go back to Cabinet in November and to make a final decision. There is no other option being taken forward to the Cabinet in November, only the closure and demolition of the market. In turn, that will see devastation on the retail markets and devastation in all retail areas of Birmingham apart from the supermarkets. Basically what we are asking you tonight is to recognise the damage that this is going to do to every single business on this market and to recognise that this is a united fight, not just for the traders but for the public and for every independent retailer who wants to join us. We want to work in conjunction with the rag market, with the indoor market and with the wholesale. This in effect is phase 1 of social cleansing of the city centre. Dave, would you like to continue?
We searched for why a city council who have made promises for 5 years to replenish as a new venue in Aston a wholesale market. We searched for why a city council wanted to close the market at immediate notice. And people will say, well, hang on, you've had 5 years. We've not had 5 years. We've had 5 years of a promise. 5 years of a promise of a council saying that we're going to find an alternative site and accommodate the traders from the wholesale market. 5 years, those traders have lived under a blight situation because they are of the opinion, as you would think, so a promise is made, you'd listen to that promise. And the promise still stood up to 2 weeks ago. The site was going to be in Aston, could well be a smaller site because the Aston area, there was a problem with the overall size and they were reducing the market that was promised, but that market was still going to be part of a continued part of a promise in the city. The shock to all of us was the comment which seems to be just thrown into the arena: the market is closing and there is no other option. You ain't got another market to go to. By searching the facts, and we're still doing that by the way, we found a document which was the minutes of the meeting when the decision was made to close the market. Having a bit of experience in my background about minutes of council meetings, I'll just explain. An officer of the city who's employed big money has to look at the viability of and look at the potential of a new market or not a new market. There has to be reports that are put in which back up the suggestions of that officer. We've managed to get a copy of the minutes of that meeting. Now on the minutes of that meeting, and please feel free at the end of this meeting, if you want to come and have a look, I'm not bullshit. I'm telling you the truth. It doesn't stipulate on this document, the minutes of the meeting, a proposal to close it. It's an update on where it stands at the moment, what they should do at the moment, but not a proposal to close it. It does stipulate a private agenda, which is the last clause, which is a very privileged situation where officers can in fact, and I'll use the term, hide a bit of information from the public. Now we're searching for that private document because somewhere down the line, somebody has made a particular suggestion that this market shouldn't move to Aston, shouldn't be rebuilt elsewhere, and should be shut. And we wonder why, and I think that's a fair question to ask. Because once we know why, the object of our exercise from now on is to look at an alternative market site. That's what we're trying to do. The only thing we can do is, by moving that direction, is find out what was contained in the private agenda. So we're looking into that. But here's the crunch. And this is where you can go back to your friends who ain't turned up tonight and who live under the excuse of, it ain't going to affect me. I'll challenge any one of you to go home tonight, get on your computers and look up the Birmingham Big City Plan. Because the Birmingham Big City Plan excludes all of you. All of you. Because the superstars in the city are wanting to move this way, to expand their retail development. And if you look, you're witnessing for the first, in my opinion, the first stage of that. There it is. Number one.
Phase one.
Number two is, I'll tell you before you look at your PCs tonight, you're now standing in a square called Moat Square. You understand in the market patch? It's called Moat Square. And if you look at that drawing, there ain't a market stall. I lie. There's maybe 3 market stalls. Because the rest of it is a retail development spreading the whole perimeter of this ground.
It's going to be a park.
Now ask the question, is it going to affect us? Now tell your friends it don't bother us. Because it does. And if you start to think a little further, if the council in their wisdom can give people with landlord and tenant rights, leases, notice like they've done in the last week, I got news for you. You ain't got no rights. So what notice are they going to give to you? And that's where we're coming from. Now if anybody doubts that I'm exaggerating, just come after the meeting. It's on the top of this list here. It reads, subject, the Big City Plan Centre Master Plan, City Centre Enterprise Zone and Wholesale Markets. Well, we've all heard about, and if you saw the television, you even had a Jack the Lad from London standing on the top of the car park there, telling us that this was going to be an enterprise zone and there's 40,000 jobs going to be created. What he don't tell you is there's 40,000 jobs going to be lost. And then what we're going to be is shopkeepers. We're not going to be shopkeepers, we're going to be shop assistants. Because that's all they're going to build.
If you're lucky.
So I'm saying, that's where we thought, now's the time to fight. Because what we got to lose?
Nothing.
Nothing whatsoever. And I repeat again, and I'm going to keep repeating this, because I've had it today, telling people the meeting's on today, it don't affect us. It don't affect you. Let them know exactly. But item, if they've got a computer, go on the big city plan. Read it. So let's get together on this and say, what do we want to do? We want to look at the situation and say, enough. Our target is to make sure the wholesale market stays to start with. The promise that was made to those traders in the wholesale is kept. There is an alternative wholesale market found and built. And you're thinking, well, what's this got to do with us? It's got to do with us because if they find alternative accommodation, we can stay where we are with a local service. As Burns says, take an wholesale market away from Birmingham and you ain't got no fruit and veg on this market that's satisfactory at a keen price. Your travel costs come into it, your vans come into it. And by the way, for the people who ain't fruit and veg, think about all those extra vans and transport that's going to come onto a market that ain't been designed and built to cater for that. So it's again having a knock-on effect. So we want to have a go at this and say that we're not out for confrontation. What we're out for is integrity. What we've been promised is what we want. That's it. And from then on, if it is the case we lose it, we will look at the legal aspect as well. But we're going to be looking into that legal aspect from day one. Slowly getting our case together. Because if it's a point of we lose our first battle, because I'm promising you nothing. But I am promising you that you're going to have your voice heard. And you're going to be arguing the corner of, this is a promise made to the market traders, we keep it that way.
To the city.
And the city itself.
Well, we didn't roll over the last time.
So I'm just asking, and this we've got to talk to you traders on the basis of, one, if you're in agreement to take the fight on. Two, because we've got to talk to you because we're going to spend money. We're going to spend money, it's going to cost money to take advice. Legal advice, planning advice, property advice, you name it advice. But before we do that, we've got to ask your permission if you're in agreement to allow us to do that. So what I'm asking first of all is this. A show of hands of those in favour who want to fight and prove the point. Is there anyone who does not want to carry on the fight? I'm going to make a record on that, please, that vote was unanimous.
Absolutely.
The second point. Are you in agreement to allow your committee to use some of the funds, and we'll keep you informed, to take forward the professional people? Those in favour of that suggestion, hands up please. Those against that idea? Again, can I record this a unanimous vote? Are there any questions from the floor?
Let's go forward.
What we're also going to do, excuse me for a second, is we're going to arrange cards, collections and whatever as a